Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hey,
Well,
hey,
hi,
what's up,
guys.
guys?
I got problems here already.
Uh-oh.
You got a friend there, Brian.
Yeah, Veronica's making an appearance.
We've all missed her, so
She's
thanks for
sucking.
bringing her
She's
back
she's
into this
sucking your para.
conversation.
Is she sucking
Fine.
your para? Is she sucking your paralymph? Is she
Well,
sucking your
she's
bladder?
not doing a good job because the doctors told me I need to go on a diet. So Veronica needs to step up her actions.
Don't try it.
You're going to be
Yeah.
anemic, Brian. You're going to be anemic if you don't watch it.
Aren't you sweating enough? We seen all them between you and Bruce. You guys getting in all that honey. I figured you'd be sweating to death. You'd be wringing wet and skinny as a rail.
That's going to be this weekend when I go down and I help someone. I think his name's Greg at Nature's Image Farm. Going to do this honey harvest thing at the learning yard. Ooh, see what I did there?
He's
Man,
good.
I just,
Nice
Just
I
job,
just,
plugging
Brian.
it in.
I just miss out on all you guys' fun you're having up there. I wish I could come up. One of these days, I'm gonna
Yeah.
surprise you guys. Just kind of show
And
up one day.
and then the very next day, I'm gonna pull my own honey.
Nice.
So yeah, yeah.
Brian, it looks like you got a pretty good bunch, a pretty good amount of honey coming in.
Coming out of the winter with 3 colonies, and you do splits, and you have these good genetics, and you do things kind of right for once in your beekeeping career,
Yeah,
for once. And yeah, I'm
It's
like
been a lot
amazed.
this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm amazed because I think at how things look now. I was thinking I was going to get 170 or whatever pounds, and I was kind of recalculating, and I'm probably going to get close to 300
And that's
with the
just
supers
spring.
that I have. That's just the spring, yeah.
You might get a
yeah,
little
that's
So
little
awesome.
summer, late summer, and then some goldenrod. It's been everyone's
yeah,
having troubles right now because the flow's been so good in Ohio. I'm getting a lot of calls, people concerned that their queens are gone or what's wrong. I don't see any eggs. And then the next
hmm
question is, well, are they calm? Well, yeah, they're calm. The next question is, what do you see in the brood chamber? Well, I see lots of nectar everywhere. Is there a place for the queen to lay? No. So it's a problem that
shut down.
everyone is having. Is there's no place
Yeah,
for mama to lay.
yeah.
Um, we're doing goofy stuff. I mean, we're pulling honey frames out of our queen mating nukes. It's that bad. I mean, the honey is that bad. Some folks have heard some old timers complain and say that sticky stuff just gets in the way. You can't really fully appreciate that until you're spinning out frames out of your mating nukes, so your queens have room to
That's
lay. I mean,
crazy.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy. Crazy. Hey, we're what, 5.5 minutes in, and we have 80 people on.
that's awesome.
We need to
Good
do
stuff.
something.
Yes, we definitely have an announcement to make. Need to hit something head on here.
So who well, so
It's your channel, Brian.
this is everybody that's on. This is us being 100% transparent. We thought that we were allowed to do the super chat for the entries,
For extra entries.
for extra entries.
Yeah.
And come to find out, with we had a couple people message and different things like that. Come to find out, we are not allowed to do that. So what that means is that anybody, we have a list of anyone that gave those super chats. If he or she wants a reimbursement, we will do that. We are happy to do that. It's just us being 100% transparent, and you know we thought it was a good idea, and then doing and digging a little bit more research into that whole entire you know um, idea, that found out that we could not do that. It would go against some of YouTube's guidelines, and also it would go against some other guidelines. This person called Uncle Sam. So, we just we'll be straight up, and we're going to have to reach out to some folks and see what everyone wants to do with those super chats. If if those people that did say, use it for another giveaway, that is all we're really going to do anyways. Even if we
Yeah.
were allowed to do that, um, it would just go towards another item that that we would just get doing a giveaway. So we
That's right.
appreciate all of the super chats. I mean, the three of us literally we spoke afterwards and were blown away really
Yes.
at that entire situation.
Yeah, it was awesome. You guys are awesome. And we Brian, if I could just take a minute and
Yeah,
read the what you sent us. Brian, first of all, I wanted to thank, I'm not sure who it was. We had a couple of folks during the actual live last week that said, hey, you need to check into the law, the YouTube rules on this. And so we spent a good amount of time right after that video discussing it and trying to look things up. And then the next day, Brian put a fair amount of time into just researching the laws and everything of the land. And this is what he found. It says, is this the law? I think, Brian, it says, if you're running a chance-based prize promotion in a country with no purchase necessary laws, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't ask users to make a purchase. It just means that you can't, number one, make it mandatory for entrants to make a purchase, or number two, give extra entries or increase the likelihood of winning for entrants who do make a purchase. So that's kind of what we did. And now we know. We do want to still maintain the excitement over this extractor because this thing is going to be given away. We're not stopping the giveaway. That's going to happen. We just need you guys to go ahead and do the comments after the video's over, just the hashtag StreamTeam, hashtag HillCo comments like you've been doing so far, and everyone's going to have an equal chance to win this thing is what we're going to try to do. So we are still super excited about it. We just wanted to apologize now.
Yeah.
For those who gave super chats who would like, if you want us to refund you that money, you need to email me at Bruce's Bees, and maybe someone could put that in the link down there. Just Bruce at Bruce's Bees Bruce at brucesbees.com, and that's my email address. And let me know how I can get it back to you. If you have a YouTube channel that's monetized and has super thanks, I could just give you a super thanks back, or I can just send it to you via Venmo or PayPal, or we can figure something out. But like I say, we just did not, we really, we thought it was a great idea, and it turned out to be a good idea.
Yeah.
It was successful. It was ultra successful, but it wasn't 100% legal. So we need to backtrack on that a bit and just go ahead and let's be excited about these giveaways, but we can't offer extra chances if you buy super chats. And we understand the wisdom behind that, and we appreciate those who kind of alerted us to that during the live chat last week. And we are excited about going ahead and moving forward with the extractor giveaway and future things, things in the future as well. So just let us know, let me know, Bruce at brucesbees.com, and we'll figure something out. All right. Well, that's behind us. We'll probably talk about it again a little bit later for those who come on later, just to make sure we do still welcome super chats. We're not saying don't send them, but just understand that if you send them, it's not going to give you an extra chance for the extractor. So it's just going to go into this kind of pool that we're collecting, I think, on each channel to kind of allow us to do some giveaways moving forward.
Yeah.
Yep. We made it. We got through that.
That's over. We literally, everybody, we've been
stressed all week about this. We've been thinking, we've talked about it. We've just been really stressed about this and feeling bad about it. So
yeah, it's almost like you walk out your door and you look down the street and you're like, all right, I don't see any.
That's on the door knocks. You look around, you're making sure it's not the FBI or the lottery commission.
No
those StreamTeamers.
No black Suburbans or helicopters out there in the street.
Yeah.
Waiting. So
in all, I think you guys stated that very well. We haven't crossed any lines or broken any rules. We haven't given anything away yet. But before we even gave that thing any time to even look sideways, we want to get right out ahead of it and just be open and honest with where we're at with our thinking, the motivation behind it, and then also let folks know that whoever did give super chats, we're going to take care of that. We're going to get that reimbursed. And then if you want to leave it as a super chat, thank you. We're going to use that towards the next big giveaway down the road. So it's just a way that we're trying to pay things forward to folks, and we're looking forward to keep on doing those things.
Brian,
Yeah.
Cody Walker had a question there about, yeah, that's what we got so far, but can you put that up there, Cody Walker's comment? If you commented last week on the video or on the chat and tonight, will there be 2 chances? What do y'all think about that?
So I had a thought, and everybody on the stream, there's 106 I see. I had a thought in this, and I hadn't even had time to talk to either one of either Greg or Bruce. I basically was going to mention that idea. Why don't we, those that commented on Bruce's, there's 152, and then I'll just go through mine. So if you commented last week and you comment this week, it's for one per stream, one entry basically per stream, so everybody has a fair shot at 2, but you got to watch the streams. So that's where I think the little hiccup there. So if someone says, oh man, I just saw
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, you were awesome, man. And that way those that are those faithful watchers of our lives will benefit in that you'll get 2 entries. So does that sound like something that's, what do you guys think?
Let's huddle up, guys.
Let's come on in.
Huddle up.
Come on.
Can I rep my brand new accessible beekeeping shirt? Probably do that. There we go.
Huddle in.
That sounds good to me.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yep.
I'm okay with that. Shouldn't be a problem with laws because it is free. It's free, so we're not charging.
Yeah, it's just a free entry. So and so again, Greg, I'll get you on there. I got the wheel up right now. So Greg, I will, and you're, buddy, you are on there from Bruce's, but I tell you what, you're going to be on there now. So if anybody does throw a super chat in, like the rules that we found up, they are very, very clear. You can't offer extra. Someone that does a free entry, they have to have the same opportunity. So anybody that does, don't worry about commenting afterwards. I'll just throw it over on the wheel. So think of your super chat as your comment. So yeah, and Chuck, Niners Nation, I know, man, I know, and I appreciate you. You know that, man. So let me get Greg's on here. So, but again, like Matt,
but it's one. It is one per
channel
video. One per video. One per video last week and one per video this week. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So one, so everybody will have a maximum of 2. So, and I just, if you click anywhere on that screen, it spins it. But
spins
like
the wheel.
Yeah, Matt and like Tim, after this stream is done, and it literally it appears within minutes.
Just the comments.
Throw in that comment with StreamTeam HillCo. Yeah, and Jim, you got it. You're spot on. And I mean, this is, even with the slight hiccup that we've had, this is just such an exciting giveaway.
That's right.
It's just such an exciting opportunity that the 3 of us have to share with the community, the beekeeping community. And
the advantage to doing it this way is that the comments pop up as soon as the video uploads, right as soon as we click off, and so you got till next week to do that.
Yeah.
And so we've had them coming in on my channel all week long. I see it popping up, like even today. I think we had some still. So one per video. They're free, and we appreciate you.
Yep.
I have a proposal.
What's up?
Let's talk bees.
Yeah, man.
So
Greg Burns, question above in chat. Let's see here.
Question above chat.
From Graham's
above in chat.
Graham's Bees, if you can throw that in again, that way we can see it.
They go all caps. Go all caps with it.
Yeah, throw it in all in caps. If you have questions, just throw it all in caps. That way we'll try and answer some questions.
I'm not sure what it looks like from the viewer's screen, but if you guys throw out comments and stuff and you're trying to say hey or support a part of the conversation, if we don't acknowledge you or respond to the comment, it's very likely on our screen. It's hard to see. There's so many different things popped up. So if you don't get any kind of feedback from us, it's not that we're not paying attention or we don't care. A lot of times we can't even see those things. And the caps helps to kind of break it up. But we appreciate everyone with the side conversations and all the questions and things. So if there is a question, all caps, and then maybe we can make sure we see that.
Absolutely.
And I think one last clarification here. So for Matt brought up here, thought the drawing was this week. It will actually be next week. So that way, Matt, people have 2 weeks really to
get a fair chance for everybody.
Yeah, because we understand, people are busy, people have real lives, they work, they have families, prior engagements, things like that. So that way it does, like Greg said, just gives everyone a fair chance. So next week it will be on Greg's channel, Nature's Image Farm. And there's going to be a lot of hype coming up to that. And I can't wait to click that button to see who the winner is going to be. Yeah, it's going to be.
It's cool. We've already got, how many entries did you say, Brian, before we started? About 150 or 160, right? Something like
153 we're at right now.
Awesome.
So yeah, so I see. Here we go.
Oh, hey, I wanted to give Matt a shout out. Matt and Sylvia, they were traveling through Montana. I'm not sure if they're still out there. I think they might be taking a road trip, and they sent us that video question last week. I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you guys.
Okay.
Appreciate that a lot. All right, here we go.
Is a drone made from a laying worker is viable as a drone laid by a queen? That is a really good question, and I'm gonna point over. See, I don't even know how to point anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna point over to these fellas because I to be honest, I don't know. So I'm gonna defer.
I'm not going to act like the expert on this situation, but what I like to kind of do sometimes is when we're chasing these squirrely questions, I'll backtrack. So how does a drone come into existence? It's from an unfertilized egg, right? So if we have, was the question a laying worker drone or just a?
Yeah, laying
worker? Basically, the question is if a drone comes from a laying worker, is it viable? Basically,
right? Yeah. So the question is a unfertilized egg from a worker bee the same as an unfertilized egg from a queen bee? And that is the details and things. I don't know that I necessarily have a real good answer for that. Here's what I do know. A lot of folks, if they've had any kind of weather or requeening timing concerns, they've seen laying workers. When we have laying workers, we make sure to try to get ahead of that as soon as we can. And some of the options to requeen can absolutely just be a downward spiral. What we did do this week, though, in a laying worker is grab the drone and just check to see if all of his parts and pieces were there. So if you take a drone and then kind of hold him upside down and squeeze on his abdomen, you'll get a little bit of a popping sensation. And out will come his member. And if you've ever seen that, it's pretty interesting. It looks like kind of like two curls kind of going this way. And then from what I understand, if he's sexually viable, when you pop that, there's also a little semen sac or a little part that also pops out. Now, when I pop the ones out of the laying workers, both of that happened. The question becomes, is that drone sexually viable? Well, he might be. The question that I really don't know is what genetic traits or chromosomes or difference or variance might there be between the drone's sexual situation, his organs from a worker versus a queen bee. So if you happen to know the answer, leave it in the comment. That's an absolutely great question. Bruce, what do you think?
It is.
I've actually wondered that. And to me, it seems like, since it is unfertilized, it seems like it would be okay, but I really do not know. But that is an incredibly good question. Somebody else asked, what do you do with your laying workers? There it is right there. How do you deal with them?
Yeah. I actually have one of those situations right now.
Brian, what are you going to do about it?
I am gonna.
Shake and bake.
I'm gonna.
Shaking.
Yep. Yeah.
Shake it up.
So, Fuzzy World. I had one of those situations before that I corrected, and I went through the whole. I introduced brood frames, and you get those pheromones and everything, and you reduce down the laying workers' ovaries. And when I introduced a mated queen, I kept her caged. That way she could lay. I put it on capped brood, so that way every worker that hatched out basically looked and were like, "Oh, hi, mom," and it gave her then room where she could lay. And I went through that whole process, and it took me a month. The hive ended up recovering, but it was a month. And I just don't want, like, right now, I have one of those situations that I've been procrastinating on. Um, I just don't want to spend a month dealing with the constant, doing this. And okay, next step, I got to do this. And next step, I got to do this. So if I get that
lot of
anymore,
work.
it's just going to be, it's just shake it out. And, that's that.
Hey,
Bruce, what about you?
We did get a couple of super chats, one from Earl and one from
Yeah. Andrew also.
Andrew. Yeah, so we appreciate it,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys. Thank you.
I've tried different things. I actually did a video on it a couple of years ago. I had a couple of nukes like next to each other. I think one or both of them had laying workers, and I took it, took the frames all down, probably 30, 40 yards away, shook them all out, ran the frames back up, stuck them back in the hives. And I don't remember what I did with the frames, but because, I think theoretically, if I'm not wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, Greg, I believe that the laying workers can't fly. They don't know how to get back to the hive, but the rest of them kind of will get back to the hive somehow. I'm not sure how that works, but before you can get back up there, the bees are coming back. So it does happen. And then I put a mated queen, I think, in both of those, and one of them made it, the other one didn't. I've done that before as well. I've done that several times. But what I do now, pretty much, I just take them over, dump them out. The bees will find a new home. I always have multiple colonies in every area, and so they'll find a place to go, and then I just don't worry about it. I know there are ways to correct it. I think by putting in, the laying workers brood, I think subdues let me know if I'm wrong on this, but I think brood, or especially open brood, will subdue the laying workers. I guess their ability to lay. I'm not sure how that works, and then eventually you can introduce a new queen. I don't know how that works exactly, but it's just easiest. As many colonies as I have, it's easier, in my opinion, just go dump them out, and then they'll figure it out and just start over. But those are great questions, both of them. And
that's awesome. Yeah.
So I guess we got rapid fire questions here. There's another super chat. Who sent that one? That was from that's Andrew. Then we got another one.
Yeah, I got that one up.
Bruce, I'll add to that laying worker thing. If you are going to try to fix it, you got to know that it can be extremely challenging. We've tried to shake everything out and then put a queen cell back in the original locations. When they fly back, there's something there. We've tried to put a mated queen.
Oh, Michelle.
Back in that same spot as they've come back. That occasionally does work. But what we've seen over and over again is they've got a lot of attitude. And that, like Bruce said, the idea is the laying workers, they've never went on an orientation flight, so they don't really know where that colony is. So the idea is you shake them out in the yard away from the colony, and they have to be assimilated into a different hive, and then that behavior is not tolerated, and they're taken out with whatever colony they try to get into. This is the best answer for this depends on, I think, your resources. If you have 2 hives and you have one of them going downhill, you're going to probably treat this differently than if you have 10, 20, or 200 colonies. We're kind of in the mindset now where when we see it, I don't even walk far anymore. I just shake them off right in front.
Out there.
And what I do today, I take the whole entire colony down, shake them off, and I'll slap those frames right on top of somewhere else because somebody else needs them. Let them clean it up. But I think the interesting thing about the drones and the laying workers, if you think about it, if the egg from the worker was good enough to have a perfectly developed drone that has the sexual organs and everything intact to do it, my thinking is that they're probably going to be probably be viable, but I could be wrong. But that's a great series of questions there.
Hey, thanks to Michelle, thanks to Fuzzy World, and thank 33 Mile Bees.
Yeah,
Phil,
geez,
thanks everybody.
Phil,
this is
you
awesome, guys. We
guys-
sure appreciate it.
Yeah,
You guys are awesome.
This really is blows my mind.
It's just it is. It's
Yeah.
overwhelming. Thanks. Hey, I see Michelle's on here. She actually gave us a super chat, and I see Lisa on here. And I think son of one Ed was on here. There's probably some others who helped me out this weekend. I'd like to take just a couple minutes, if you don't mind, Brian, talk about our adventures. This past weekend, we harvested honey.
Bruce, before you get started, I see what you did there, because you're going to talk about it, and it's going to lead right into this question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that, and anyway, okay, yeah. So anyway, we actually pulled, and I cannot thank all the people who helped me enough. Richard Prager helped me both days. I'm not sure if he's on here tonight, but he's a guy that's on YouTube. He was at Hive Life last year. He lives about an hour north of here in Eufaula, Alabama. We had, I hope I don't leave somebody else. We had Orion, and then his dad came and helped pull for about the half a day. The first day, he's a young kid. Orion's a young kid who would be perfect for Cayman's program at the Hive Life. If I'm not sure if he's interested in that. I didn't bring it up, but then we also had Jeff White, who is the only nuke I sold this year. I didn't sell nukes this year much. I was trying to build back up, but he got a nuke from me. Just a great guy. And then we had Justin on Friday. Y'all, if you've seen my other videos, you've seen Justin, and he's just a trooper, man. He's awesome. A young, like 21-year-old kid that helped me out, and he's really good. And so we pulled 158 boxes of honey. Some of like 3 deeps. I think 8 were in 5-frame nuke deep boxes, which is probably about the same amount of honey as a medium box, I would say. And then we had the rest were all mediums, and did that on Friday. Unfortunately, the weather cooperated with us. We had rain all around us kind of midday, and then it kind of broke up. And by the time we got to the pollination bees, we came back up from Hartford and got to the pollination bees. The bees were really not bad at all. They didn't even rob. And the Midland City bees, they were kind of crazy. But anyway, so we pulled all that honey. And then on Saturday, I'm not even going to attempt to name everybody that was there. We had, at one point, we had up to, I think, 15 or 16 people there. But, we had a really good crew that was really streamlined with about 10 to 12 people, really all day long. And some people came and left. But, man, it was so much fun, so much hard work. And Michelle came. Michelle, her daughter had a baby over in Mobile, which is probably about 3 hours away. Yeah, Michelle says, so hot. It was hot in there. We had a fan blowing, and so she came and drove 3 hours over. Son of one, Ed was there with his wife. Jeff White was there again with his wife, Jessie. We had Rusty, of course, was there. My wife, Annette, was there. My daughter and her boyfriend were there. And then Kathy Youngblood brought some folks to help us out. And we had some food there. We had lunch. It was just a really good time, but man, it was hard work. We ended up with 92 5-gallon buckets of honey, which is a lot. So, then Sunday, I took a break. I had some folks kind of saying, hey, we're looking forward to the video or whatever. I said, hey, I gotta get a little bit of a break. I gotta just rest. And so Monday morning, 4th of July, I got up early. I went and grabbed Justin. We went down to borrow my brother's truck and trailer. His truck's a little heavier duty than mine. Drove back down to Hartford, picked those buckets up, and we've got them in storage. Now I got to figure out how to get rid of it. But it was, what a day. I mean, what a crew we had. It was just phenomenal. Hope I didn't leave anybody out. We really had a great crew, and I appreciate all the help. And, Michelle gets the award for driving the longest distance. I've never had anyone drive 3 hours before to come for anything I've done, like that. And she was there, and she got there about 8 o'clock, and she waited and we were cleaning up when she left. And so she stayed the whole day. And man, what a crew. Phenomenal. So the videos are coming out. I actually have the video of us pulling the honey is about ready. I've got to just do some touch up stuff on it. It should be out in the next couple of days. And then I'll get working on the actual extraction video. And hopefully I captured it, can give a feel for what we did. It was just a lot of fun. I was just absolutely exhausted, as Michelle and Lisa will attest to that. And Ed, anyone who's there knows that was a long day, and we'd had a long day the day before. Richard was there both days. Jeff was there both days, all from start to finish. So it was just phenomenal. Those guys were just troopers, man. I mean, just incredible. So I appreciate everyone that helped out. So leading into this question, Rob with Laura Bees is going to kind of help me figure some shipping stuff out. I've had issues in the past. I've sent my honey primarily. Yeah, Michelle said it was a great day, and it sure was, man. It was phenomenal. So much fun. But I've mainly sent honey flat rate shipping through USPS, and you can kind of figure out how many bottles you can get in there. I usually send my plastic squeeze bottles, use bubble wrap, put it in there. And that, I think, from what I figured out, just shipping honey a little bit, at a time, it works really well. However, we do have some that every once in a while a bottle will get broken, the lid will get broken or something. And so I had a friend out in Utah a couple of weeks ago that wanted us to send honey, and he wanted some of the glass muth jars. I put a wax seal on, put the corks on, wax seal. We may have discussed this a little bit last week, but they made it. And but the Postal Service left the box upside down, and so a couple of those bottles had dripped a little bit. And so I'm just like, I've got to figure out a way to do this, because I feel like, just with I feel like I could ship honey all over the country. I think there's probably some folks on here that might order some, as well as, and I can do it still right now, but I want to figure out a system where I can just order like 2 bottles. It's just kind of like a setup where it just ships it out, kind of like, you guys do with your businesses that have that. I just don't know how. The honey is so heavy. And if you send out the nice glass bottles, with the wax seal, how can you ship that without it messing up? And so those are things that's my goal, is to learn how to do that properly. Rob has some good ideas, and Mike Berry has talked to me a little bit about that. And so that's my goal in the next few weeks, is to figure that out and maybe start shipping all over the country. I've got to figure out a way to get rid of total this year. We ended up with 7,400 pounds, 7,440 pounds. If you figure 60 pounds per bucket, and maybe a little bit less than that, probably 58, 59 pounds. But anyway, yeah, there's Ed, son of one on here. It was just, he was there pretty much all day. He and his wife, Chris. What an incredible day that was. But anyway, I appreciate you bearing with me. Videos are coming, man. What a fun weekend, but incredibly hard work. And it's kind of crazy because you guys might agree with this. It seems like the harder the work is, the more addicted I become to it. I'm more addicted the harder I work at it. I just absolutely love it. And I'm kind of weird that way, I guess. Anyway, it was
I think a lot of us are. Once you know how far you can take something and then find success, you kind of get bit by wanting to see how much further you can go, or repeating that. There's a certain, I don't know, dopamine hit you get when you have that kind of result by putting the hard work in, especially when you have so many good people like you did, Bruce, to show up and help out. And it's a sense of community and fellowshipping, and you can't do it without them. And it's an awesome thing.
It was just, there's no way I can thank everyone that came enough. And we had a big group, and why would they come and do that? They ended up leaving with a couple of bottles of honey, and we did some things for, folks that work both days or whatever. We, everyone was compensated at least with a couple of bottles of honey, but still, and a lunch and even a dinner if they stayed all day. But still, what an incredible people just to come and do that for me. It's hard for me to even believe that they would do that. I could see coming a couple hours, but coming all day long like that. And it's, down here, is like Michelle said, it was hot in there. We did have a fan blowing, but hot. Folks just kept working, man. Hardworking folks, just good people.
I'm here talking, saying a couple things, and I'm muted. But I would almost pinpoint it, Bruce, on it's the Atlanta Braves hat.
I was gonna say the same thing. We're thinking we're on the same sine waves there.
Yep.
Roll Tide, baby.
It's like look here, Greg. What is that thing like Spock did that
Yep.
That's getting weird, Brian.
Yeah, we're digressing. Yeah.
The law of attraction, you just wear this hat and people just attracted to you.
Right. Yeah. Greg, this is a perfect question for you, because you're Mr. Queen Man. Need to bank a few virgin queens for a couple days. Any help? They are hatching now in the incubator.
Jeremy Tillman, thanks for the super chat. It's a great question. I think there's going to be right now, to say timing is everything is an understatement, but anyone who raises queens or introducing new queens, or have laying workers understand that timing is absolutely everything. Sometimes 6 hours, sometimes 1 hour is all that it takes. The difference of dropping a queen cell into a colony that hatches 10 minutes later versus it hatched 10 minutes late in the incubator, or you were 10 minutes late to pull them out of the incubator, it can just open up a whole can of worms that is just everyone's going to have their different opinion about how to do that and why to do that. And I'm of the firm belief now that you are far better served to spend the time to tune up your timing, so you don't put yourself in a situation where you have to fool with virgins if you can help it. It takes a lot of extra timing, a lot of extra work that you can completely avoid by the timing, but it happens. It happened to me this year only once, and hopefully that'll be the last time. But I'll tell you what I did is they were hatching out, and I was just about 6 hours off on that. They started hatching, and we use JZBZ cups when we graft. They go into cell protectors. I guess Man Lake calls them, I think they're called top bar cell protectors. They're the orange protectors. I don't think I have any laying here. They're the orange ones that have the 2 spikes on each side coming off. I love those because I can stick those.
I have this one here.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not the orange one with the 2 spikes on the other side. But the roller cage, I use the roller cage there. But we'll stick those top bar cells will go into JZBZ cell holders for shipping queens and such in the incubator. But when they hatch, there you can see them hatching out, and if you don't get them right away, they'll end up head down. They'll kind of get stuck in that cell. They can die without being able to get turned around. If you drop those cells, even as they're hatching, or catch them and put them in the roller cage, what we've done is just put just a tiny smearing of honey either in the bottom of that cap on the roller cage, or the easiest thing is to put them into a JZBZ cage with a little bit of candy, and then just rub a little dab of honey on one of those little perforations. That seems to work out super good. What's interesting though is every time I see that, I always want to take a video. I did take a video. I never got it published, but you've heard people say that queens can't feed themselves. Well, that's just 100% not true, because the second you cage a queen or you watch, you'll actually see them hatch out of the cell, and then they'll do a 180 and head back up into the cell, and they'll actually spend some time cleaning up the last of the royal jelly. When they're done with that and you've got honey in the bottom of the cage, they'll flip back around and then head down to where the honey is, and you can actually watch them feed with their proboscis pulling honey. So it's pretty cool. If you're going to bank them, that's what I would do, is just keep some honey. Be real conservative. You don't want to overdo it, because if she starts to wallow around in that and she can't move around, sometimes you'll see them just goopy and globby and dead on the bottom. So be real conservative, but I mean like 1 drop of honey, and just kind of monitor them. That's what we've done to try to introduce them. And then introducing virgins, that's a whole other conversation. But I'd give that a shot. Make sure they have some honey on them. I think they're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Hey, it's kind of fun. I see Lisa and Michelle going back and forth here about the day Saturday. They were both there.
They are. Yeah.
And it's true. Lisa said she found her bee mate on there, I think, something like that. And that's true. It's just cool to see them hanging out and having a good time.
We got a question here from a good buddy, Chuck.
Guys, how many queens can you have per hive, and do you let them stay?
Bruce?
How many queens can you have per hive?
Well, I've seen... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so Chuck is not a beekeeper yet. I'm going to throw that word out there, Chuck. So if you're watching, Chuck is not a beekeeper yet.
Okay. Well, I typically 1, but occasionally you'll see, I have seen just a time or 2 in a hive. I know that people say there's a certain percentage of colonies that have 2 queens in there. I've only seen it that I can recall once where 2 queens were basically laying side by side. One was dark and one was light. It was very interesting. to be honest, that hive wasn't all that healthy. So neither queen was really good. I don't think it was an average colony, but that was just the wildest thing. I found the queen and then I'm like, wait a minute, there's another queen. It was pretty wild. I do know, like your setup, Brian, where you have the nukes next to each other and you have a queen excluder over the top with your honey supers.
Yeah.
That's one manipulation you can do, where the worker bees in that situation, they don't fight each other. I guess because they're used to, it doesn't really matter that much. But if there are two queens in the exact same bee space, sometimes they'll murder each other or whatever. They don't get along that well. So I know with an excluder, though, the workers will go up and work together. The queens just can't be together, typically.
Yeah.
But I have seen two in a colony before, and some people say they see it fairly often. I've only seen it once that I can recall for sure.
Yeah.
Like mated queens. Now I have seen multiple virgins running around if they've just emerged, but as far as mated queens, I've only seen it once in all the years I've been doing this.
Yeah.
Haven't looked really hard, but
that's the one thing that when I tossed those supers on that double nuke, that's the one thing that I said is, you got to make sure you use an excluder when you're going to run this setup like this, just because if you don't, you're just going to create a mess. So,
and then sometimes you'll have a net configuration where you've got two nukes in the bottom with a queen in each and an excluder, and then a super above. You sometimes end up with a 3-queen situation because one of the queens squeeze through the metal wire on the excluder and start laying, and that can cause you all kinds of aggravation. So there's lots of that's a good question. Lots of possibilities, but I think basically one queen for the most part in the individual colony, and then you'll have virgins, and then swarms is a whole different story. You can have 8 and 10 queens and those things. So good question though.
Yeah. Cajun Homestead. Where do you guys get your labels for honey jars? Bruce.
I get mine from Blue Sky. It's they have labels that you can just customize, put your information on there, and they have probably 15 or 20 different options. You can just customize it however you want with your information, but they have a template and you put it on there. I want to do something a little more personal, but so far they've worked well. They're pretty labels and they work good.
Yeah.
And they're very affordable. They're not very expensive. They're not bad.
I'll say also Blue Sky, they're, I think it's around a half an hour from where I'm at. So if I ever need to just pop into a local store and pick up something, that's the store that I would go to. And Mel and crew there, they're great.
They're very helpful, man. They're just so nice.
Yeah. So Blue Sky Bee Supply in what is it, Ravenna, Ohio, I believe.
Ravenna. That's they're up there northeast Ohio area. We're kind of anticipating. We really don't try to do anything with a lot of honey. This year we were kind of forced to, so we're going to have just a little bit more than we care to kind of fool with. So what I'm using this year is ones that I made up and then had sent off the sticker mule and just have a big roll of them. So when it's time to slap them on the jar, just we'll just peel them off and stick them on there. But that's through sticker mule. It works out good. There's so many different options there. Like Bruce said, if you want a more custom one, you can do stuff like that. There's a lot of outfits where you can have them like the templates, and you just kind of fill in your information there.
Yeah. I've got some stickers that I got from Blue Sky last year, but I probably will end up having to order more. So I'll probably shop around. I'll probably see, but Blue Sky is so close to me that if I place an order, I don't even ever have to worry about shipping because I can just, it's a half an hour ride for me. So yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I think we're caught up on questions.
I think so. We're good.
As soon as I say that, we're going to have another. No. We're not caught up on questions. We're not. Do Do you know who has a question? And I think he's in here.
He is.
Yeah, Rob. Yep. Do you know where his question is?
Probably in your email box.
Ah, look at that. Look at that. Ah, look at that. Let me go ahead and mute myself. That way we don't get no feedback or anything. But let's see what Rob has to say.
Hey, Stream Team. It's Rob at Larabi's. I came across the interesting situation out in the bee yard that I wasn't prepared for, and I wanted to see how you guys would have proceeded. I did ask Bruce about this a little bit, but I wanted to get the rest of yours take, and I think it'd be good info for everybody. So here's my scenario. I have my hive, which is number one, labeled number one. That queen was a nasty queen, so I called the queen. I put a queen in a couple days later from Greg's Lighthouse Hive. I went back and checked several weeks later, expecting things to be just fine because she was in a cage and all that. And I confirmed that she was released, so she was fine. I come back and there's no cap brood, no larva, no eggs. Really just drones that were left to emerge. It was kind of strange, but not a lot of drones like I had a drone layer. So I was like, okay, so I need a queen because there's still a lot of bees there. So the hive beside it, that is hive 2, was another one of Greg's nukes, which I delayed moving over to hive 2, delayed moving over to Apame. So I got a couple swarm cells out of that. They're all in one frame currently. I've got like 4 cells, which I know Greg's going to be like, that's 4 boxes of bees. I get that. But would you move the whole frame over to the first hive as a donor because it has brood on it and all that? Or would I just cut the one cell out? Or, how would I use my resources in hive 2 to save what's left of hive 1? Any info would be appreciated. And I think it's a kind of interesting predicament that I came into. Anyway, thanks.
There's some good questions tonight.
That's a great question. There's a lot of details and a lot of nuance. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm. What
Ryan, why don't you go, or whoever?
I've never cut cells off of a frame. I know that I probably should learn that skill. I've watched somebody do it several times. I have video on my phone of Greg cutting cells. I shouldn't be intimidated by doing that. If you could move one over and like what Greg says, there you go. You got 4 boxes of bees there. I should learn that, but as far as like, I'm gonna take a step back and do the context is key, and knowing how many colonies I want, I would probably just throw the whole frame over. Just me, Now, would others cut each cell and do some other splits and things like that? Yeah, I mean, Rob, you probably could. But me personally, I would just move the entire frame. That's me being lazy and not cutting cells. So,
Bruce, what about you?
Well, this is something that if you have bees for any amount of time, you're going to run into this. I mean, it's just something that happens. A hive that no eggs, lots of bees. The question being, do I have a queen in here? I don't think I do. I think I'm queenless, but I'm just not sure. So back when I was a brand new beekeeper, hopefully it was just the first year. I can't remember exactly, but I would have hives and I couldn't find any eggs in the hives. So I would call my mentor and say, I need a queen. And he'd say, Bruce, just hold off a little while. Just wait a week or two. And, if you still don't have a queen, let me know. But Dave, man, I don't have a queen. So I went and I bought who knows how many queens, kept requeening my colonies. Don't have any idea if there was a virgin queen in there or not. So little, I don't know if it was that year or the second year, I noticed that in one of the colonies, this was brand new, I noticed this milky substance at the bottom of some of the, I was kind of dark, a little bit dark out there, I think, and I saw, oh my gosh, there's this milky stuff in there. Dave, what's this? David, what's this stuff in there? He's like, well, those are brand new larvae that have hatched. That means you have a brand new queen. So the second year, I just decided to start listening to him, and I saved some money, and almost, I would say probably, 80% of the time when I think I'm queenless or I might be queenless, there is a virgin queen. The bees have superseded themselves or possibly swarmed. But there is an insurance policy that works. Nothing's 100%, but most of the time this will work. If you put a frame of eggs in there, like from another colony, they'll usually draw queen cells out. You can tell within a day or two if that hive was queenless, because if they start drawing out queen cells, there was no queen in there. If they just ignore those eggs, then you'll know that they have a virgin queen there somewhere running around. And so that's another thing you can do. Or of course, you could just drop the frame with the cells in it. You could cut a cell out, put it in there. All those are viable options. But the first thing, what I would probably do, what I usually do if I have a lot of bees building up, have a lot of eggs in colonies around, I'll just pull a frame of eggs and new larvae and stick it in there. Just as insurance policy. Number one, they can make a new queen. Number two, it strengthens the colony. So it's a win-win. That's what I would do, unless you're 100% positive. And if you just want to stick one or all those cells in there, you could do that as well. That's how I would approach that. Probably 9 times out of 10, I would stick a frame with some eggs in there and just let them rock and roll and see what happens.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to go about that. You guys each hit on a bunch of the ideas on there. I appreciate Rob being honest and open enough to share that, because sometimes we look at those situations in the bee yard and we can kind of feel like they're a fail, and we're not really as keen to share that with our friends and our peers. But the fact of the matter is, we're all only working with a limited amount of time to do all the things that we need to in the yard. Piecing together what Rob's commenting here, and then the brief conversations that I had with him earlier, we all know he's been real busy getting his new battery-powered vaporizer off the ground and shipped out and working through all those things. So I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I would say he's pretty tight on time right now, going through all those colonies to see specifically kind of what's going on. I will say from the biological timeline, when you pinch that queen, whether you replace the queen 24 hours later, 36 hours later, 5 days later, it's always a good idea, if you can, to go ahead and just check real quick and see if they're starting to make cells, see if they're starting to do kind of anything else, either before or after you put that queen in. Sometimes I know that particular hive that they had was spicy, to say the least, and I think it had so much attitude, it was kind of intimidating both Rob and Lori from really getting in there and maintaining it and see what was going on, because you're just paying the price constantly with it. So I can understand being a little apprehensive on doing a top-down, really detailed inspection, especially with Rob working through some of those allergies and things still. I think what can happen with those really spicy hives, sometimes no matter what you throw at them, they might just be spicy, and they might also kind of act defensively to a cell and to a queen that you give them. Sometimes not, so I think he said 3 days later he checked, the queen was out, and then he checked back in 3 weeks later. What we don't know is what happened over that course of the 3 weeks. If there's no eggs or larvae, in most parts of the country, they're backfilling everything with nectar, and there's no place for the queen to lay. So depending on the hive configuration, the hive setup, maybe she's still in there with no place to lay. However, maybe there was also queen cells already being formed inside of that cell at the time that new queen was introduced, and they only let her out to ball her up. And they already had a backup queen that they were headstrong and dead set on kind of coming out. And there could be a virgin running around. And at this point, with that timeline, that virgin, actually the virgin would be just about ready to start showing signs of eggs if it came out a little bit later. That could always be too. they could have ran that queen out, and she could have absconded with a handful of bees and went and found her way into a different colony. It's all we think we know what the bees are doing, but when it comes to some of these hives that have extreme personalities, you can only do so much. But it just based on the fact that he had one colony that was growing so quick that they were fixing to swarm, and they put swarm cells on, what leads me to believe that he was just probably a little tight on time to get in there and thoroughly kind of check and see what was going on. And that happens to everybody. I would encourage folks, though, if you are buying queens or nukes from anybody, if you ever have any kind of a question or an issue at all with a queen, with a nuke, with a package, your first point of contact, get a hold of your supplier, because they want to see you do well. They can answer those questions. And a lot of these times, if you can get that feedback as soon as it happens, there's a lot of time to course correct. But if we wait too long, now it's really just in the hands of fate, per se, on what's going to happen with that colony. We might not have as many opportunities to course correct. So just kind of keep that in mind. But as far as what to do, I mean, yeah, I'm guilty as cutting cells and splitting them out and putting them into a small box and having backup queens. If Rob had all the time in the world, what I would have done is I would have went through every single colony and kind of got an overall feel for what's going on in the bee yard. I would have marked the hive that had queen cells on the top lid, so I knew it had queen cells in it. And then I would have went through every single one of my colonies just to make sure nobody else needs a cell or nothing else is funky going on. Or maybe one of the colonies is just too heavy. Maybe they need split out. Then what I would have done was, if I needed the extra resources at that point, I would have probably cut cells and just kind of redistributed those throughout the yard wherever they were needed, including, like Bruce said, it's a cheap insurance plan. When in doubt, drop a cell. I mean, the worst is going to happen. They're going to tear it down. And if the bees made it, or even if you grafted it, I mean, it doesn't hurt. We don't when we are caging queens to ship, I'm pulling a queen, I'm dropping a cell. If I'm not quite sure if the queen's doing a good job or things aren't really kicking on, I have no problem just dropping cells. It's a cheap and inexpensive way to not only right that current situation, but you'll notice a lot of times if a colony is queenless, sometimes within minutes of you dropping a queen cell, the entire vibe of that hive changes, because they know they have a future. They know they have something. How they know that, I don't know, but there's just something about it. When you watch and you drop a queen cell in a queenless colony, they all get up on that cell, lovey-dovey, and then all of a sudden you can just watch the vibe of that hive change. So queen cells are an excellent tool. When people see those, don't freak out. Don't get rid of them unless you don't need them. But they're extremely valuable tool to really make some quick and impactful adjustments in the bee yard.
Man, the trolls are crazy, man.
Yeah, they are bad tonight.
I guess everyone wants a free extractor. Wayne's honeybees. Hey, Wayne, he's down in Southwest Ohio. The question is it too late to split hives and let them make queen cells this late in Southwest Ohio?
Nah.
Brian, you're up in Northeast Ohio, and you're not worried about that, are you?
No.
What's the latest you make splits or will requeen?
Well,
on purpose.
You said that because you know my situation last year. I had 2 colonies requeen themselves in September. Now, both of those colonies, they both teetered out about the ending of February, just because they didn't have enough time to lay up their winter population. So as they were dying off, they just slowly teetered out, and they finally were about the size of my fist. I typically, after this month, July, it makes me nervous, just because I like to run, like everybody knows, I like to run those double deeps. So for me to be comfortable and have a colony that's built up into a double deep, it just gets me nervous getting into August. Not saying you can't. Now, it just depends on watch this, Greg. It depends on the context is key. So if you run, 7-frame nukes, like that Apame, that 7-framer I have, if you run, double stacked nukes. If you, I don't know your setup, but right now, split them. I would, with how the resources and that look also, at least in my area, I would easily right now if I wanted to grow my apiary. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Bruce, what do you think?
Well, I'm not in Southwest Ohio. They did say that they have a lot of drones. So as long as there's a lot of drones, I think, and a reasonable amount of nectar coming in, I think it's okay. Probably, I would say.
I think the question is, what, backtrack that all the way, or actually go forward with that. Let's say you make the split and it grows. Usually the concern is how big does my colony need to be to get through the winter? And you might have some local specific things. Some folks run doubles, some triples. But I can tell you, in my experience here in East Central Ohio, where we can see, -10, -20 with the wind chill in the wintertime. And then in the summertime, we're like everybody else, 98 to 102 at the very, very hottest with high humidity. We've overwintered in a 5-frame single medium, and I've lost bees and doubles. The biggest thing is those rascals need to be mite free. They don't have to be mite free. They need to be virus free. That viral load needs to not be there. So for us, that's the kind of game plan, is knowing what is the first thing. I think before you, at some point, you have to get yourself enough feedback in your context to say, hey, this is the minimum size colony that I'm comfortable risking going through the winter. And then once you get enough feedback to say, hey, I can do this, and I've done it for X amount of years, now you've got a point of reference. Okay. Now, okay, well, how long does it take me to build up that many bees to do that? For us here, we'll make a lot of the last splits in September. I mean, no problem. And even the first part of October, if I've got a box that's 2 or 3 boxes big and I've got little mating boxes with queens in them, what I'm doing is downsizing splits. I'm breaking those rascals down to where they're like story and a halves as splits. And then I'm adding those queens to them. And it's a way that I can use up and get all my queens out. I can have fresh late queens that'll just cruise right through the wintertime and come out of the spring, laying it up like gangbusters. So it's kind of an opposite way to think about it. Sometimes you can do a downsizing split late in the year with a mated queen to also reach your goals too. So you don't necessarily have to just split them right now to get them ready for winter. Sometimes there's something to be said for growing the resource that you do have right now. Just grow, and get that resource, that asset, as big as possible, and then downsize it later in the year. That's another option. But if you make that split now with a queen cell, the thing you have to ask yourself is, how many drones are you seeing in your area? If you're still seeing drones, I mean, there's not much to worry about other than dragonflies. The birds are going to start getting worse late summer. And then once the nectar flow stops and we get into a dearth and everyone's out and about and kind of getting a little bit more funky and defensive, what you stand to risk is if you make a split too small, like a 1-frame split, or if you're using mini mating nukes, those rascals are just prone to getting robbed out during those times of year. So that's probably, I don't know if that was too much information there, but there's a lot of ways. If you just ask yourself the question, well, what do I need this to be and by when? Then I think sometimes you can just back step and figure, okay, well, this. Don't forget about the resource hives. If you've got those extra resource hives in the yard, man, you can use those things to bolster up those ones that are a little iffy and just to give you a little buffer. That's my 2 cents. Don't get me started about splits and queen cells, Brian, because I'll just go all night long about that.
Man. Hey, Greg, guess what?
Mr. Jim Hamby. What, buddy?
Is it too late to make a nuke up to overwinter in Jim's area?
I don't know this for sure, but I think Jim is somewhere in our area, Brian. Jim, put in the comments where you're at here. I can tell you, Jim, that we are constantly don't get him started. Lindsay Homestead, he knows. I talked with him at Hive Life, but we just chat and chat. No, it's not too late. Matter of fact, we're not even done making our smaller splits. We're not even done yet. We still have a bunch more of the Northern Kentucky. Oh yeah, you got a lot of good opportunities still. In southern Ohio, I'm seeing photos of sourwood trees that are just
yeah.
in full bloom. So that's awesome.
that's
So I
awesome.
think
It
this
is.
season is like a bumper crop. So take advantage of it while you can, but just know at some point what you might consider doing is making those splits a little bit bigger. So rather than going with a 1 or a 2 frame split, eventually you have to go to a 4 to a 5 frame split. And then sometimes it takes making splitting your boxes is the safe bet super late in the year. So there's always a way to do it. You just have to think about what do the bees need right now, what do they need later, and how do we get them from point A to point B.
Hey, thanks for super chat, Niners Nation. Appreciate that.
That's my buddy Chuck.
Thank you. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck's awesome.
Yeah, he's in here all the time, Mr. Make It Worse Makes It Better. What is this? Should I add another box on top of my hive when it's only 2.5 months old? It's 12 frame boxes and came with 5 frames. 12 frame. So would they be 10 frame Langstraws? Maybe that was a typo.
Add another box.
I've never
on top of my hive when it's only 2.5. So
stack.
If the bees need it, I mean, just stack them. You know, if you get in there and whatever configuration you're looking at is 70 to 80% full, stack them. Sometimes you get in certain parts of the year on a 10 frame box. If those outside, look at that. Look
That's
at Brian,
beautiful. That's a thing of beauty. That's a thing of beauty, man. I love it.
What was the fellow on?
Stack them.
What was the fellow we had on here, Bruce? I'm terrible with names.
Randall Carter.
Randall Carter. He's just the tower hive king. Yeah, that's
a Randall hive.
Yep.
We also had Ted up in Dadeville, Alabama does that too. He's got his all stacked up. They're starting to harvest up there. Those Selena and her husband's helping.
Matt, Greggy Poo. I haven't heard that one in 2 weeks. Thanks for the keeping that old thing alive.
Russell says I'm showing off. No, Russell, that's that one colony that if people go back, what I need to do is just do a video dedicated to that one, because that colony was a very, very small split that when I got my packages from Greg last year, I got extra queens and I split some of the packages. That queen actually did, the old fly up to the light and come back down. And I had a lot of drifting then. And when I did my inspection just to check and see, well, are the queens out? There literally was a ball of bees about this big, and that was it.
Oh my.
And I left it. I moved it, I shifted it to a smaller box, and I thought, well, it's early. I'm just going to let them go. And that darn bugger, from being the smallest, it's like the little engine that could, and now it's stacked high.
Greg, let me ask you a question. Speaking of that, when it comes to your stock, do your clusters get pretty small in the winter? Do they have carniolan tendencies or what? Because that you see that a lot with carniolan, they'll get real small in the winter and think, oh my gosh, and all of a sudden they just explode. When they decide to go, it's all guns a-blazing. They grow like crazy.
I think the carnies do it, but I think who does it even more so is the Caucasians. What we noticed this year is when we brought back those genetics, that Sue Kobe stock from Bob Benny from his yards. What we noticed is they kind of scared the socks off us at first because they went into the winter. They downsize on their own, and they kind of get into a nice configuration without having to kind of strip them out. In the spring, they kind of just hung out and they just kind of hovered, right? And then our other foundation stock, which is Italian and Carniolan and just whatever Appalachian mutt from trees and everything else here. Those guys, like most folks would expect, just kind of they come out of the spring just like gangbusters and they just go, kind of like what you would see from an Italian. But this Caucasian influence with that New World Carney, they just stood there. And then so we're kind of scared because we've made all these queens and all these colonies to see how they do coming out of the spring, and they just stood there and they stood there and they stood there. And then just about when you're getting ready to just freak out, you go out there and look and you're like, oh my God, where did all these bees come from? And they just turn it on. And when they turn it on, they go like gangbusters, like you have never seen before. And I think what's really cool about that is sometimes Italians, carnies maybe a little bit, but definitely Italians, in cold weather climates, they can sometimes turn it on too soon. And when they turn it on too soon, they waste all that time and resources to make brood they can't keep warm because they're breaking cluster to stay warm, and they can't keep the brood warm. And they're spending all that time pulling out all that chilled brood, and it just sets them back. And it's a waste of resources. What I've seen with this new addition into our line is that they just kind of they idle until the conditions are perfect, and then when the conditions outside are perfect, they just explode. And they have gone. They're exploding and putting. They're putting on more supers than some of the other colonies are. But it just blows you away because it seems like they're 10 to 14 days behind getting started, but they're way more prolific. So there is something to be said about the different types of bees on what they do. And I think also the thing to think about on some of these genes, like the Caucasians, the length of the proboscis, they can maybe reach more or different plant varieties too. So we might have more opportunities to bring in more or a more varietal of the nectar source. So all kind of cool things that you see fooling around with different types of bees.
Yeah. Hey, DC asked if I was going to move. Let me go up there. Where is it? Where was he at? You going to take more hives over to the farm to make max honey? So the day after I stacked up those supers, I was talking to the farmer guy, and when he harvests his wheat that he's lining up to take place sometime this week, I think he's going to harvest. He actually, Greg and Bruce, listen to this. He was thinking of a cover crop, and he was like, what can I do to help out those bees? He's lining up to plant 60 acres of buckwheat.
Oh, wow. That'd be nice.
So I probably will end up moving. I told him, I said, let me know when that takes place, if he gets the seed. I'm probably going to end up moving just one other. But yeah, that there will be 60 acres of buckwheat sitting there at that farm then. So I can't wait. I'm hoping he can get the seed. It's like that whole supply thing. He found a guy locally that said he can take care of how much seed he wants. The price is like dirt cheap. So he's kind of like skeptical about it. He said, if it's so seed and he gets a little bit, he said it'll still benefit his land. So, but yeah, DC's, I'll just move one. I don't want to move more than that just because I don't want to split my colonies out that much. It's for me, it's just it gets into moving or having to load up my car with enough supplies to manage colonies at a different location. So I don't have a truck or anything like that, so I have to pack everything in the back of an SUV. So if I'm having to load like multiple boxes and all that stuff, it just gets into a situation that I can't load it in the car in one trip. So, yeah.
Yep. Well, we haven't given anything away today.
I know. I
feel like we should give something away. I don't know if you guys have anything. My Mini Max is now in transit. I am so excited, Brian.
Oh man,
can't wait to see your extraction video. There's going to be a lot of extraction videos out this year, which is pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, that right there. I'm drooling over that. It's Rhonda. Mine is sitting in a box still.
Awesome.
I need to take Brian. I need to take a quick second to thank Dee and also Justin Ruger. They were over at the Heartland Apiculture Society at that conference where old John Hill from HillCo was at. And this coming Saturday here at Nature's Image Farm at the Learning Yard, we're going to be showing folks how to just do some basic backyard honey extraction. And we thought, what would be cool is if we can get an extractor from HillCo to be able to show folks. So got a hold of John, and he said, yep, he had one there. And I was looking for someone to kind of transport that here, maybe see if someone was going to be going past Ohio. And sure enough, Thomas from Free Range, we had Justin Ruger from Accessible Beekeeping. Him and his mom Dee hand delivered
Awesome.
a HillCo extractor here to the farm just in time so we could have it for the learning yard. So that's pretty awesome. So we're looking forward to getting that rascal out and using that and showing folks. It's easy just to want to show the easy, like, what now seems easier to me is using our 20 frame and a capping tank and things like that. But we didn't have that when we got started. We barely knew what we were doing, didn't know what a difference between a uncapping knife and a pick was, and so here we're out there trying to use forks and, crushing and straining, and we had no idea. So what's fun about the learning yard is we're going to just show folks with the absolute basics and have everything out there so they can see it and get a good point of reference. And hopefully that'll make them be more successful. So again, shout out to not only HillCo, but to Justin and Dee. Justin Ruger and his buddy Jonathan Bennett have a podcast and a YouTube channel called Accessible Beekeeping. It's got some really interesting things on there. Be sure to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that they're doing, we actually sat down and I interviewed Justin for our podcast at the Contrary Beekeeper Show and for an upcoming video here at Nature's Image Farm YouTube channel. That'll be later on this year. We'll get that out. But what I wanted to mention is one of the cool things that they're doing is accessiblebeekeeping.org. They put out a survey for beekeepers that have some kind of a limiting factor. It doesn't matter what the limiting factor is. They're looking for feedback from folks to say, hey, beekeeping would be a little easier for me if all these different things, they might be blind, they might have some hearing impairment, they might be in a wheelchair, they might be, missing some part of a limb or something that makes it difficult. So they're looking to get some feedback from folks so they can try to get the correct education and right information out to help those folks have that connection with not only the bees, but the beekeeping community. So if you're checking out this video, please consider going over to accessiblebeekeeping.org and filling out that survey. That survey is going to help them tremendously kind of shape up how they can help folks. And so they only have until the end of this month of July to get all that information kind of set up. So accessiblebeekeeping.org. Check it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hail Hives. Oh, go ahead, Bruce.
Might be a good time now to kind of take a little break and Greg mentioned we hadn't given anything away. I do have as part of when I contacted John at HillCo about the extractor, once again, want to remind everybody that we've got quite a few more people on here than we had to start off with. We are giving away a extractor, 9-frame extractor from HillCo. If you're just new to this contest, you just need to go in after this video is over and put in hashtag StreamTeam, hashtag HillCo in the comments, not the chat, but the comments after the video is over. So also for those last week, and I think everyone that's on here pretty much knows what happened. We were offering more chances for super chats, and we found out we're not supposed to do that. I'll just put it that way. And so I wanted to just mention that it was on my channel. So if any of you would like to have your money back from the super chats, we will send it back. However, whatever was donated, it just goes right back into the chats, into our YouTube channels and into the future giveaways. But that having been said, when I talked to John, he sent me a box with some items in it for giveaways, not big items like the extractor, but I happen to have a HillCo Hive tool right here. For those of you who haven't seen these, very nice. It's my favorite hive tool. I've got one just like it that I've been using. I love this hook right here. It's heavy duty. They work really well. I just really like this tool. So I'm totally okay with giving this tool away. We can do a quick contest if you would like. Or for about the next 3 to 5 minutes, if you guys could just start slapping some comments in there. Maybe put something like HillCo Hive tool or just Hive tool or just HillCo or whatever you want. Let's see some comments and Brian will tee them up here in a few minutes and we'll spin the wheel.
Yeah. Just throw any comment in there, and I just basically snag, a participant
there.
list.
And it needs to be, you need to be Continental United States, and you need to want the
Yeah.
Hive tool to get it.
Yeah.
So and you need to have an email address that you can reach out to me, and so I can get your address and send it to you.
It's hard to compete on giveaways when you know you got an extractor coming, a big extraction giveaway next week on the Nature's Image Farm YouTube channel. But Brian, do you have anything else?
Last week we gave away a beehive, and we're talking about this extractor, and this week people are like, a hive tool. I tell you what,
man, I love my hive. I love my hive
Brian
tool.
sees your hive tool and raises you.
I'll send a set of these. They're my my frame holders. If people think these would be, if anybody in here wants a set of frame holders, just say frame holders in here too. That way we know, and I'll give a set of these away. I mean, they're on the Etsy store, but I'll send a pair of those to somebody.
You guys are making me look bad.
We want to spin it once for the hive tool, and the second time will be for the frame holders. Let's do that. So y'all put your comments in. Let's ramp this thing up. Get your good number in here, and we'll.
Do I need to throw something in here to make this a little more well-rounded?
That's up to you, Greg.
Well, so comment frame holder for the frame holder, hive tool for the hive tool. I have, what do I have here? I have a half-eaten kiwi. No, that better stay. I tell you what, we do have some fun farm swag. Maybe I'll see what I can find around here, and throw together some kind of maybe mystery thing. But
hey,
maybe
Lisa just said Greggy Poo. Greggy Poo. So she wants you to be in the contest.
So we'll get a sticker, or depending on what you think about me being in the stream team, it could be a shooting target. You get to pick. So how about a sticker? We do have a brand new piece of farm accessory. That's a little bit of swag no one's ever seen before. It's kind of cool. Nothing crazy, but check this out. It's
cool. It's
Nature's Image Farm keychain.
Ooh, that's nice.
So maybe you could put that on your hive tool, and you won't lose your hive tool. Or maybe if you lose them both, then you can really lose big. I'll find some other. We have some Contrary Beekeeper show stickers, and we'll throw some other stuff. A handwritten note. So if you're interested in the farm stuff, I guess I don't know.
This is
Greggy swag. Look at John Greggy Poo or Greggy swag. That's fine. Just put Greg on there. That'll be fine.
This right here is kind of funny because Rob has infiltrated my wheel of names, because look at the ad that I have on here.
Dun dun dun.
Huh? Rob infiltrated the wheel. Wow.
Now, local and gambling laws only allows us to give away one Larabi's vaporizer a month.
Yes.
So you better get that off the screen. We don't want anyone to think that they're going to be one of those.
Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to shuffle the names. Okay. There's 85 names on here. This is for the hive tool. So let's see. Will we see fireworks? I don't know. Bruce Brown.
That's the hive tool.
Yep.
Way to go, Bruce.
All right, Bruce.
Let me go back.
How about that? We got a Bruce winning a prize from Bruce's Bees. How's that sound? So, Bruce, send me an email at bruce@brucesbees.com, BRUCE@BRUCES bees.com, and with your address, and we'll get that out to you.
Awesome.
Bruce, I'm so glad we have Brian. Brian just makes this whole thing fun.
It wouldn't be. We couldn't do it. It would not be.
I'd be like writing on a piece of paper, and you'd be seeing me, my bald head. I'd be pulling him out of a hat.
I just wrote his name down on a piece of paper. That's what I got over here. That's how I do things, man. Listen, I'm old, guys. I'm gonna be 55 in a few days, in a 3 or 4 weeks.
55. You get half off breakfast at Bob Evans.
I'm coming yet. I'm not quite at that stage yet, but
I'm gonna come buy you breakfast then.
If you guys were doing this, you'd be writing them down, and then you'd be like this.
No, we'd be writing it down and squinting. Like, I can't. What did I just write?
Let me spin this, and the frame holders. So, and I mean, these are hot off the press.
And if you want to see those in person, I think Brian's going to bring some of those down to the Learning Yard this Saturday.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Yep. Let's see. Oh my gosh, we got Goat in here. Terminal Goat. What is up, buddy? Look at that.
Ed helped me extract this Saturday. Son of one. That's awesome, man.
Ed,
Love it.
right there. Ed,
Give
I'll
me
get your contact info from.
Oh, look at that, Bruce. 55 is the speed limit. Whew.
Let me. There we go. That's awesome. Let me stop share. I gotta.
Thank
say,
goodness we're not in the
gosh.
70s anymore when the max speed limit was 55. You guys probably don't remember that, but
No.
back in the 70s, the max speed limit was 55 nationwide, and they fortunately did away with that stupid law.
What else are we giving away?
The mystery box from Greg.
The mystery
A
box. I'll throw some
mystery
stuff in there.
box.
Keychain, sticker. We'll get a podcast sticker in there. A little handwritten
mystery
note.
box. Oh, let's shuffle it up. Shuffle. And everybody, yeah, this weekend we're going to be doing some more filming down at Nature's Image. We got Michael. He's a OH Michael.
Oh, is he an Ohioan?
Cleveland, I believe.
Good deal. All right.
Yeah.
Michael, send me an email. nature'simagefarm@gmail.com.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. This is just building up the next week. Holy look, and what do we always say? It's about at the hour and a half mark, we always like hit the number.
Yep.
And 142.
Golly, thanks so much, everybody.
Wow.
What else we need to talk about, guys? Sleep?
I don't know.
Lack of?
I gotta
fatigue?
tell you, I was so tired today. Yesterday, last night I stayed up pretty late working on a video, and man, I've been dragging all day. But these things just get me amped up a little bit, so I'm pretty wide awake right now. But man, before this thing started, I thought I was gonna have to lean on you guys to carry us tonight, which you've done. But fortunately, I haven't been complete. I told Ned I'd probably just be dozing off, but I'm awake. I'm still awake.
I haven't put you to sleep yet, Bruce. You're doing good.
No. But
Jonathan Bennett there asked. So Jonathan Bennett is, like I mentioned earlier, is the counterpart co-host of the Accessible Beekeeping podcast YouTube channel. And Jonathan, he liked the shirt. Once again, I got to show the shirt. I'd show the back, but we probably can't see it anyways. But it's got a bunch of cool stuff on the back. No, I'm too fat to spend in this booth here. Bunch of names on the back. Bunch of cool sponsors. But Jonathan, sat down, shot a video with Justin right there in the shop. Had a great conversation, and then it was fun just taking him and Dee around, kind of showing them the farm a little bit, just to kind of give them an idea of what this kind of thing means to us and the kind of place that we do it in. So it was pretty cool.
Man, trying to keep up with things here. I think
Is your allergies kicking in this week, Brian?
No, well, you can always tell when I'm a hair tired, because it always looks like I get punched because I get the bags under my eyes.
Oh, I thought it might have been allergies. I don't know. This last 2 days, the milkweed now is on like gangbusters, and I don't know if I see anything else new other than that. But the milkweed, I don't know that that's a real big allergy to people, but maybe it is. But it is just making my nose run and my eyes water and burn and kind of choking me up. What do you got there, Brian?
Well, we've got a request from Fuzzy World, a honey shot.
Okay. Yeah, honey shot. That's all. I'll watch Brian eat some honey. Well, Brian, how's the honey? Wow.
Whose is
Good
that?
finish.
This is actually mine from last year.
Oh, okay.
You got it. Okay. We need people to send us some honey. So
I've got so much honey. I should run and get some.
Walker Bree. I'm left out. I haven't had anyone send me any honey in probably a month.
All right, folks.
Matter of fact, if you want to send us some honey and you want to see your honey on this stream team next week for the big HillCo giveaway, your honey could be debuted right here, live prime time. Send that over to Nature's Image Farm at P.O. Box 1074. Zanesville, Ohio.
We
PO
got
Box
two people here.
1074, Zanesville, Ohio.
I think Greggy Poo needs to chug another bottle of Hive Alive.
I'll tell you.
We need to get Jeff back on here to do it again.
All I've got. This is
John. I'm sorry,
about
John.
as
Get
bad.
John back on here. Get John back on here to do it for his big giveaway. Get him to chug some more. Remember how he did that night?
I'll chug some-
No,
yeah,
John. I mean, he
cold
chugged like a
coffee.
whole. He didn't just take one swallow. He like chugged the whole dang bottle.
Yeah.
He was pretty brave to do that.
Cajun Homestead, let me. I'm like embarrassed that I don't even know. I think they're 10. You would think that I would know because I sold two. I shipped 2 sets of them today. Yeah, they are 10. Let me do this. I tell you what, just I'll swipe a buck. Let me change that here. I'll drop them down to 9.
What are you selling?
Boom. Publish. Boom. They're $9 now.
What is that? The frame holders?
Yeah, the frame holders. And I'll tell you what, so anybody that's looking at these, and I mean, it's not just because I'm selling it. It's what these things are made out of. You can literally, like, I've got pictures on, let me go to my shop and I'll just pull them up because I've got pictures.
Well, look who just popped in here. I feel like we should have like Macho
It's
Man,
DJ
Randy
Barracuda.
Savage music and lights and old DJ Barracuda. Hey Dan.
Yeah. When I
I'll be
had
out this
these,
Saturday, Brian.
Oh, that's you know what I think he told me.
He tells you
that
before he tells me,
there.
so that's good.
Mike
He keeps you in the
there.
loop.
You see Mike's comment?
Yeah, I know. And Mike, so I'll address that in a second here. But right there I had 2 deep frames. 2 deep frames hanging on this, and they'll hold 3. So they will hold the weight no problem. Now, Mike, I did talk to my brother the other day, and if anybody wants to hold off on buying these, if you have hives that are very close together, I talked to my brother, who he's the one that made this design. I said, can we make a set that'll hold just 1 frame, narrow it up? And he said, yeah, sure, it's easy. Do you still want it to say Castle Hives? What do you want? I said, yeah, sure. So I need to just get him a couple dimensions, and he's going to make 1 framers. When he does that, Mike, I will let you know.
Well, is Mike going to put a how you do that video, a how-to video on how to use those frame hangers? Mike, if you're listening, I've been really behind on videos, but I just caught your latest one, and I just want you to know that I really enjoy your videos, Mike. So keep up the good work.
Can you make custom holders with a wider hanger? I would have to talk to my brother. Designed these. He actually has the file. So I would have to talk to him, but these as they are, they're solid. I
think what he's saying is they're perfect.
They
are.
And they've got that lip on them there also, and they're labeled on their, left and right. So when you plug these buggers on there, they do not move just because they have that extra lip, and they are solid. You throw them on each corner and your frames are good. I don't know if you'd need a bigger, I don't know if you would need to adjust anything on them. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't like to do videos on how to, and you get all these people that watch you, and you get thousands of people watching your YouTube channel, and you're in denial that you don't know how to do how-to videos, and then you send out these special requests saying, well, I don't like those. I want one that only holds 1.
That'd be fun. I want 1, and I want it half yellow, half orange, and half black.
Right.
And can you put my name on it? How to?
Yeah, right. I should actually see if he could do that, my brother. Just make 1 set that says how I do or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. How to aggravate Brian.
Hey.
Mike, I'll let you know though.
Hey, there is a question on here from a first-time beekeeper. We're gonna buzz, I think, on there. It's up a little while ago. It says, I don't know if you find it. It's up a little ways. Came in at 9:33 your time. It says,
Okay.
first time honey harvest, planning to crush and strain. What equipment do you feel is necessary? You see that?
I'm going. Question new beak.
It's
Okay,
just
I got it.
it's right after Dan checked in there. So what do y'all think?
When I very first started, I did not have like, you'll see the uncappers and all that kind of stuff. I bought a very basic, one of the cold knives that I lost, and I used a fork, and I would just score over very easy. I had and I forget whether it was a 2 or 3 frame, just hand crank extractor that I got off of, I don't know whether my first one was off of Amazon or eBay, and that was it. I mean, I had the filters, of course, that way, you could filter out if there's any bug parts or cappings in that, but it was very basic. I think really the only, like, the two key pieces would be, well, if you're going to crush it, you just need the filters, I guess, because if you're not planning on spinning it, just the filters, that would be it. Scrape it off. What would you think? I mean, you could use anything, a spatula to scrape them off the frame.
Cut the comb out,
Yeah, and filters. That's all you would need.
The question is, how much bee parts or wax parts do you want to pick out of your teeth?
Yep.
And then go down the line there.
Yeah.
I think at first we were using, because we used to use a lot of just natural drawn comb. We're making starter strips, and then so they would make all kind of, big, beautiful, hoopy kind of stuff, and we would just cut it off and stick it into a piece of muslin to kind of just spin it and squeeze it over like a stainless bubble bowl and that kind of deal. But I always felt like there was a better way that I just didn't have for that.
Yeah.
And I guess with Susie's top bar hive, I'm not sure what we're going to do. If I have to pull honey off of that thing, I'm all ears here.
I knew.
I did
go ahead, Bruce.
I did a video last year. I think it was called something like helping out a friend or something like that. I had a friend that I'd helped get set up with bees a couple of years ago, and he wasn't able to harvest. And so I went up there, and when I took the lid off one of the hives, there were no frames.
Oh
so
boy.
we had quite a bit of comb. We had
Natural
some honey with some comb. Yes, we had some comb that they had built out, and they had filled up with honey. So I cut it off, put it in a bucket, took it home. And what I did was, it was a little more complicated probably than it had to be, but I took a bucket and I drilled holes in the side. I had 2 dowels I put across it, like across somehow I did it. You have to watch the video, or maybe I put them like this parallel, but that was so I could put a bucket on top. I drilled some holes in the bottom of that top bucket and put a paint strainer down in there. And then I dropped the honey comb down in that bucket with the paint strainer and just squeeze the heck out of that honey, and that way the honey could drip through the paint strainer into that bottom bucket, and that's how I did it. So it worked out good, but you'll have to watch that video. I can't remember. I think I've still got it downstairs. That's the only time I've ever really done crush and strain that I know of. All kinds of ways you can do it, but the problem is if you squeeze all the honey out and it's just in a bucket, then how do you get the wax cappings and stuff out? So you've got to get it squeezed. You got to squeeze it really good, get all the honey out of the comb, and then somehow you have to separate the honey from the comb. And so that's how I did it. But that video I think is pretty good. It turned out well. We got some good honey out of that.
Greg, this next one's a question for you.
Tim over at Southwest Ohio Bees question: will buying donuts get me extra entries? It will get you unlimited entries into the Nature's Image Farm Learning Yard.
and also the Donut of the Month Club.
Ooh,
every other Saturday at Nature's Image Farm.
We've got folks that drive 3 and 4 hours every time to get here. Some even, at the last one, we had Kevin Monfelt from Bee Bum, the Hives for Heroes. He helped facilitate the Hives for Heroes conference out in Lincoln, Nebraska. He drove all the way from Nebraska to come see us. So that was pretty cool. But folks don't really come for the beekeeping. They don't come to learn, all the hard lessons learned. They come for the donuts because the donuts are just the absolute best. And we have one little small town donut place called Donald's Donuts. So Donald's Donuts, if you're listening, which I'm sure you're not, shout out to Donald's Donuts. We order 3 or 4 dozen each week and go bring them out. And, I love doing the learning yards and I love everybody, but, I show up every Saturday for the donuts too. Oh, hey, matter of fact, you can't see her. She is just off of the camera this way. But hey, Susie, we've got a question or a comment, actually. It says, at Greg, be sure to get a good a video of Susie pulling the frames from her hive, won't you? I think the people have spoken. We got enough Susie Top Bar comments where we're going to talk her into doing a video, Brian. You think we can pull it off this Saturday?
The last time, and I do recall her saying, she said, if I see, what was it? Something like, if I see 20, like, thank you, Susie comments or something like that.
She's only like a couple off, isn't she?
I would do, it's way past that. It's way past that.
It's way past it?
So
Brian said you had 146 thank you, Susies, that you're now committed. So
the full inspection, full hive inspection.
Full inspection. Well, I guess maybe we'll do that this Saturday, Brian, while you'll be down here.
I mean, look. I'm getting the stuff ready. I'm getting the cameras ready. I'm gonna have multiple.
She's
mics.
also, Brian. She's also giving me this look because Grandma is watching the kids that night. So that means Mom and Dad get to go on like the date night, which is like twice a year. So we just have to play this one a little bit sensitively here, Brian, because
but if you think
for reasons I don't need to disclose,
if the both of you are semi-swelled, it would just kind of fit.
Okay, all right. We'll have to play that one by ear.
Look, and we're getting good. Look
at the Susie comments.
Go Susie. Thanks, Susie. Come on, keep them pouring in. Pour them in. Thank you, Susie.
Oh, that is great.
Greg, I think all of a sudden I'm busy and I'm not going to be able to make it Saturday.
I think it'll be great. So we're here in July. I'm trying to think of some fun stuff coming up. I'm making a trip down south here at some point towards the end of this month. I'm going to try to swing by and see Bruce. Maybe if we can pull it off, maybe see Yappy and Mike Berry on the way down, and got some other stuff I'm going to do on the way back through. But I'm looking forward to maybe just getting to spend a little bit of time with Bruce and some of the other folks down there in Alabama and see what all this sweaty hot bee work's about. And just it'll be fun just to maybe see. It's one thing when you see someone's videos and you call them a friend and you know them, and but to actually see them in their element, holding a hive tool, working the hives, you get a different appreciation for somebody and have a better understanding of their context. So I'm looking forward to coming down and checking you guys out there.
I just hope we're not cleaning up slime outs.
You're awful. You're just awful. You're awful, terrible, afraid about that, Bruce. You say it every time.
Well, last year they hammered me down, but so far right now I need to start getting in them and we'll see. But
hey,
anyway.
I just looked over at my phone and saw a text message from Matt. Matt, are you still in here?
Matt and Sarah Matt?
Matt and Sarah Matt. And he said, I will do a hive tool also.
Oh, bonus.
There you go.
Matt, are you still in here?
And Matt, if you're in there, remind me I need to get with Matt on some stuff. I keep saying I'm going to do that.
Matt's still he's here. There. Okay. Let me, I need to turn the volume up on my phone. Okay, I did. Yep.
Dale Hive's here. Learning yard road trip. Next stop, Alabama. Then a state coming. Would that be fun to do a learning yard road show? That'd be fun.
That would be cool. Yeah, that would be fun. A lot of fun. Hey, Terminal Goat had a comment. Bruce and Greg, can you send a link, please? Thank you. I'm not sure.
A link to
what? Please clarify, Terminal Goat. A link what you're talking about.
Hey, and everybody just throw some more comments in there and I'll populate the wheel again. And this will be for a hive tool from Matt and Sarah.
Uh-oh.
That's awesome, Matt. Thank you.
Lisa's
Thank you
talking
much.
about donuts. She's got me squirrel dog in here.
We have Donut King and you follow. They're really good.
Those Hive tools. I almost
Boy,
feel
look
like
at Brian. He's like Fred Dunn here all of a sudden.
that's what I was just gonna say. I almost feel like Fred. You know. Oh,
Ooh,
we got the troll
apple
again.
fritter.
Good grief. What's the troll doing?
Justin Wheeler's.
Just
He knows what's up.
ridiculous.
If anybody has some good ideas on how we can help filter that out,
That is
it seems like they're always trying to tear these things down.
Yeah. Let me I'm gonna populate the wheel.
Because
Nice.
Justin knows my favorite donut, here is someone just okay, where'd it go? All right.
And that was 2 different channels that I just got on there. Okay, I think I got it.
All right.
Now, Matt, throw in whatever rules you want along with this. I'm sure it might be continental US.
I say it's just like Continental US and
Yeah.
Continental US.
Yeah, just to keep it simple. So if
Does that
you're
mean no
outside-
Alaska, nor Puerto Rico? Is that what continental US means?
I mean, if it's Alaska, it would get there probably next spring. So let me spin this. Yeah. And yeah, in the US. Yeah. Is it Amir? Amir is on I believe on Bob and Lee's show. I think I saw Amir yesterday.
Look at that. It's
So-
just a Hive tool extravaganza.
It is.
Congratulations, Amir. Matt, thanks for doing that. And Mr. Mike Mooneyham, I see your email right there. I've got you on my radar, so you are good to go. I'll get you some farm swag. And if Brian said you're up in Cleveland, well, maybe next
North
time we'll have
Olmsted.
to get a cup of coffee and a donut up in Cleveland sometime.
Yeah. Now, Matt, if you want to throw in, how do you want Amir? How do you want to get in touch? Amir, if you can, hang on one second, Matt. How do you want us to get Amir in touch with you? Yep, it's my buddy Amir. I think Bob, doesn't he live like half an hour from you or something? I think he lives close to Bob, actually.
26 minutes and 40 seconds.
What do you mean?
Oh, thanks, Lisa. No Alaska, Hawaii, or territories.
Yeah.
We
I
have
don't know what
a
territories the United States has.
Craig Branch says he doing a giveaway of a jar of honey at 8:48,
Oh, wow.
9:48. He put that on there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cool.
I'll do that too.
So, yeah, right there. So we've got Amir, email Matt and Sarah right there. So there we go. And then Craig, this is awesome. Look at this.
Jar of honey for the wheel. Nice.
Let me go up there. Let me share the wheel again.
I'm waiting to hear from Bruce Brown about. I'm waiting to hear from him for email as well.
I want to say I know the name. I think Bruce Brown's in Ohio.
Could be. A lot of beekeepers in Ohio.
Oh, it was almost on another. Peter
Gunn.
Peter Gunn won some honey.
You know, I didn't get my name on that wheel, Brian. I wonder if you could respin it.
Peter Gunn. So we need Peter. Let's do congrats. And Craig, how do you want Peter to get in touch with you? Do you want to just throw an email out, or let me
Hope it's like Craig's Killer Honey
yeah,
at gmail.com. No, I'm just kidding. Don't send it to there. That'd be a fun email.
Craig, I threw you on as a mod. That way you could drop an email. How do you want us to get Amir in touch with you? Or Peter, I mean. How are we going to do it?
Well, we know Craig,
Did-
and
did-
Bob knows. Oh no, Bob, that's Amir. That's the wrong guy. Peter
Yeah.
Gunn. Yep.
Yeah. We
We'll
got
have.
to
I guess if we don't get it right back from Craig, just have him. Peter, just send it to one of our emails that you've heard tonight. We'll put you in touch with Craig. Worst case. So Nature's Image Farm at Gmail. You can send it there, and we'll make sure Craig gets it. Or Bruce's Bees.
Bruce at brucesbees.com.
Bruce at
Yeah.
C. I've just how many
And
times have you said that?
there's
I don't know.
Amir right there. So yeah, congrats, Amir.
There it is.
There it is.
All right, Craig put it in there.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome. Hour and 52. We are no Bob and Lee show.
No, we got 8 minutes to wrap this up before we start getting in trouble. There was a comment in here, Brian. We might have to think about doing a donut tour. Where did that comment go? I can't think of where it was there. Jules Bees up in Cleveland. I guess she's up by Mike. If we get that
Really?
way, we'll go get some donuts. Yeah, it wasn't there somewhere. Maybe we need a Cleveland donut stop. Just coffee, donuts,
Yeah.
beat talk.
So
Sounds like diabetes.
yeah, that pretty little Hive tool is just sitting over on my shelf. It's not getting touched. Hey, I do
Guys,
want to say,
any other things?
Hey Brian, why don't you
Sorry, go ahead,
why don't we
Brian.
talk, why don't we talk a little bit more about the extractor? Maybe show a video or show a bring that up one more time, and so people know what it is. I think most people know what it is, but just for anyone who may have come on here late, we're giving away this HillCo 9-frame extractor right here. I've heard nothing but good things about it. John was gracious enough to partner with us on this, and he gave us a really good price, and he's going to ship it out to whoever wins this next week. So the way you win this is you go in the comments after the video is over and type in hashtag StreamTeam, hashtag HillCo, and Brian will put your name on the wheel. And also last week's video, if you go back and watch, you can do in the comment section there too, not the chat that's going on live now, but when the video is over and uploaded, drop hashtag StreamTeam, hashtag HillCo in the comments. And that will get you entered into this drawing. It's free. And we're looking forward to giving this thing out. Next week's going to be a big week, and we're stoked about it. So
yeah,
it's this, you don't see giveaways like this very often, and it's not something we can do very often, but John was gracious enough to help us with this. And we kind of put our money together, and between us and our discount, we were able to make this happen. And so we really appreciate everyone for watching, and I thought it'd be a good idea to review that one more time.
Yeah.
Don't forget to go in. If you do the comments last week and the comments on the video this week, then you could theoretically have 2 entries.
Yeah.
Which is, they're all free, but you could have 2 entries if you do a comment in each video. So Mike Berry put a comment there about his. He said he got one. It's awesome. It's great. Loves his new 18 frame. Did a review and editing the video now. Look forward to seeing that, Mike. I know you did the unboxing, and that was a fun video, but that thing looked like it was smooth. And if I buy another one as a smaller, sideliner type size extractor, I think it'll be a HillCo from what I've seen and what I've heard.
And that'll be next Wednesday.
Yep.
8
Next
p.m.
Wednesday.
Eastern on the Nature's Image Farm YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
The big HillCo giveaway episode, show, video, whatever we call these things. I get all.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting show. I look forward to it. And I think we've got some ideas of things coming up in the near future too. I've got some guests I'd like to bring on. I'm going to propose to these guys, and let's keep this thing rolling. Exciting.
Yeah. What's new for this week for you guys? Anything?
Well, for me, I'm just got these 2 videos I'm going to put up. This weekend, I'm actually helping my friend Rusty harvest or extract his honey. And so I'm going to go, that's our deal. He helps me and I help him when we do it at his facility, but we help each other out that way. And those who came this week saw kind of how we set that thing up. It's pretty cool. But I'm going to try and get these 2 videos out. Hopefully one maybe Thursday or Friday, probably Friday since it's already Wednesday, and then maybe one Sunday or Monday. And you'll be able to see our big event from last weekend. I hope I got the footage I need. I'm about done with the the pulling the honey video, and I think it's going to turn out pretty good. I hope I can pull all the footage together for the extraction video and make sure everyone's included, and it's a good video. Hope everybody will enjoy that. So tune in. It's coming. We got them both coming hopefully within the next few days. It was an exciting couple of days, hard work, but it was well worth it and very satisfying. When your bees, when they produce like that, when you work hard to get them to that point, it kind of is the culminating event of the year for you. It's pretty exciting to be able to see the fruits of your labors and just to see the bees do well like that and be able to it's just a rush. Honestly, it's just pretty cool. So that's kind of my week coming up. And right now we're actually going to be slowing down a little bit. I've pretty much got the supers off. I don't know that I'll be adding supers back on. Probably going to put those in storage. Right now the bees are cleaning those up, and I just got them sitting out open, clean up. They pretty much got them cleaned up. I'm sure by now they're sitting on the trailer. And then I'm going to start just going through. Hopefully by the time you come here, Greg, we'll have somewhere to put those queens, or you can help me figure it out. And we're going to find out which colonies are a little bit weak, which queens are failing, try and get some mites addressed somehow, make sure they got enough food, make sure the hives are healthy, and start prepping them for winter and for next year. That's the next step. So that's where we're at. We're a little bit ahead of you guys down here. We're pretty much done with our honey, and we're beginning to prepare for next year. We'll have a little bit of a flow usually in the fall. I may have a little bit of cotton flow to help, but as far as our honey production, we are probably about done with that.
Cool. Well, you sound like you've been busy. Got a lot going on and a lot of work to do still to make sure you can
I just
finish strong so you can start strong.
That's what I'm hoping. I hope I just keep them alive, man. I
Brian,
know I harp on that,
to?
but last year was rough.
Yeah.
I'm like I said earlier, I'm gonna always enjoy coming down and visiting at your place. So I'll have that on Saturday, and then on Sunday I'm gonna probably get into all of my supers. And I told everybody that I was gonna get, and I even told John, I said I'll do a video there on that 9-frame extractor. I am gonna film it on Sunday, so that will take place, and I will probably try and get that edited and out at least Tuesday or Wednesday. That way it hits before the giveaway. So that way everybody can see that actual,
that'll be awesome.
Extractor in use. I'll do my plan, and kind of why I've been stalling some is I want to do the unboxing and, set everything up and spin some frames all in one. So that way everybody sees, here it is, here's what you're going to get. Not like Mike Berry, who fails in these how-to videos, and he's like, here's the extractor. I don't know if it's going to spin honey.
Here's the box.
How I
back
do.
in the burn pile.
I
put
see
it together.
It spins in a circle. I don't know what to do with it. So
maybe Mike will have his video ready too before then, so people can watch that as well. His is a different size, but same company, same quality.
Company. Yep. Yeah. So that's my plan. I plan on literally all weekend is going to be honey weekend. So
I know how that is.
Brian, you could bring your extractor down, and we could do a 6-frame next to a 9-frame, and then you can load up your 9-frame full of sticky honey in the back of the car, and then drive it home.
Let the bees chase you home. They're trying to rob it out.
Mrs. Coper would just get. Can you imagine that, getting inside the car all?
Mike, that's
gunkified.
True. Mike says that you don't know what hot is. That's right. He is absolutely right.
I don't want to find out.
I opened the floodgate when I said that.
85's hot, isn't it, Brian? It's just 85 is just so hot. It's just we have the hottest state in anywhere. 85 is just so hot. It's torturous. We just really
I knew right when I filmed that and the camera went off and I'm editing it, I thought, well, Don Bearden's probably going to have something to say. Mike Berry going to have something to say. Bruce, he's going to chime in there.
Of course.
I knew there was a list that I was just like, I'll take
I think I sweat just watching Mike's videos.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Mike lightweights.
We're lightweights. You know that there's truth be told, we won't go into it because Bruce has fallen asleep already. But there is something, I can't think of the name of it. There's something. Is it epigenetics? There's something with your particular body type and where you come from. You do better with certain foods that you eat and certain climates that you're in. Being North, Scotch, Irish, I belong in the hills and where there's snow. Don't put me down in the bayou. Do not put me in the swamp. Don't put me down south. I don't belong. I can't do it. My body disagrees. It's just one of those things,
Yeah.
But I agree that's way too hot.
Hey, before we do, cut the night.
What, we're stopping?
Cut it off.
I thought we were just getting started.
Right. I do want to say, so I do want to throw a shout out, and I know they're both in here, to Bob and Lee. They have their multi-hour bee talks on Tuesdays. And that's pretty much, I think they're what are they calling it? Tuesday night. I forget throw the name in there, Bob. I know
Tuesday night, no life, or
yeah. So they have their, if you're looking for bee chat, Tuesday nights you've got Bob and Lee. They
on
let
Thursday nights. Who do you have? There's a new
Right
up
there.
and coming.
Yep.
Breaking through all the.
Yeah.
You've got Houston Shelton Bees. You got Johnny Walker,
And
Tennessee,
Earl.
or Johnny Walker. I can't think of the channel name. Johnny Walker Bees. Johnny Walker, and you've got Earl.
Yep.
Hillbilly Beekeeping. All three team together for the Hillbilly Hives live.
Yep.
Great guys. They're fun to listen to. Fun to hang out with them on Thursdays, us on Wednesday, Bob and Lee on Tuesday. I mean, what more could you ask for free content? I mean, it's just almost every day of the week. You got it. Uh-oh.
Show enough.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be
Oh, boy.
compliments of Bob.
Nice.
So on that note, though,
that's a good note to end on. Show enough.
Yeah. Well,
We'll see you guys next week. Next Wednesday, 8:00, the Nature's Image Farm YouTube channel for the ginormous? That's not even a word. For the big HillCo giveaway, which is above board and completely legal, and none of us are going to prison because of it, because we are abiding by the rules. Thanks again for your understanding as we transparently told you what was going on. Looking forward to it. And it sets the tone moving forward. We're here to have a good time, to help support each other.
That's it.
And we wanted to get out ahead of that before it was a problem, and are looking forward to using the super chats down the road. It helps fund a lot of things, keep our channels going, pay for all the subscriptions, but also it's money we can put right back into having fun giveaways for folks. So I appreciate that. And I just got to throw it out one more time. One more shameless cry for honey. If you have honey and you want to send it to old Greg and you want to see it on the StreamTeam live chat, send it over to P.O. Box 1074, Zanesville, Ohio. Brian has some. I actually have got some of that. And if you come visit the Learning Yard, one really cool thing that I learned from Bob Benny visiting his shop is people come give honey and he puts it on display. And so what we want to do at the Learning Yard is do the same thing. So if you come visit us here at the Learning Yard or here at the farm shop in Zanesville, Ohio, we'd love it if you bring us a jar of honey, and we'll make a little display thing and we'll put you on display with everybody. So not only we get to see you and appreciate you, but all the folks that come in can do the same thing too.
Awesome.
# be the lighthouse.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, guys, it was fun. It was fun. It was real. It was fun. It was real fun. And we'll see you next week.
Yep. We'll see y'all.
Thanks.